Check 1 2 2.
Seventeenth Mayor and City Council meeting will come to order. There's a sign-up sheet to my right on the table if you wish to speak on any of the agenda items, whether there's a public hearing or the general public hearing. And I will limit each speaker tonight to 3 minutes. If everyone will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the mayor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Note that Councilman DeWalt will not be with us tonight. He's tending to a family member. And with that, Ms. Rau, call the roll.
Mr. Sidnor,
Here.
Ms. Nicholas, Mr. Smalls,
Here.
President Laz,
Here.
Mayor Mel.
Okay. Move to the next agenda item, approval of minutes of the 16th meeting of Monday, September 10th, 2018. There any changes? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Any further discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Smalls,
I vote yes.
Ms. Nicholas,
Yes.
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
President Laz.
Yes. Move to report of the mayor and city council. And tonight we'll start with Mr. Sidnor.
Mr. President, I don't have anything to report this month.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sidnor. We're not using docs tonight?
It'll be coming up.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Nicholas.
Thank you. I'd just like to send my condolences to Marty and his entire family on the loss of his sister, Jean Dean.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Mr. Maltz.
I too would like to express my condolences to Marty Flemian and his family on the loss of his sister. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. On the 12th of September, we had our Patuxent River Commission meeting. The controversy about the role of the commission continues. Introduced at that meeting was a letter from the Secretary of Planning. And we had one of the deputy attorney generals with us. The discussion is, should we be an advocate or should we be stirring the pot? The chair has taken the position that the Patuxent River Commission is an advocacy group established by the legislature. We're getting a consistent message from the Secretary of Planning, but there are some of the other members, because I've got 33 on the commission, that have a difference of opinion, and they feel that it should be an activist organization. The controversy arose over a planned development up near Savage Mill, and thank God, the county administrator, Mr. Kittleman, has decided to back off a land swap that was the issue of controversy. So we're not going to deal with that issue, but we will continue the dialogue with the commissioners on what should be the role of the Patuxent River Commission. I will note that the Monocacy River Citizens Advisory Group is going through a similar situation now where they can't agree on anything. So we don't want to get to that point, because you got 33 members. It's like herding 33 cats. And sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't. On the 18th, we had our Historic District Commission meeting. On the 22nd, I attended the Maryland Municipal League Convention Planning Commission Planning Committee meeting. There was some good dialogue. We're going to try and address some issues that have come up over the last couple of years to require that I be down there a day early. On the 22nd, also, we had St. Vincent Pallotti High School Crab Feast. They sold all the tickets, so they must have made some money. I ate my share. As was indicated, condolences to the Dean and Flemian families on the passing of former Councilwoman Jean Dean. We will miss Jean's counsel and her friendship. And get well to Carl DeWalt's family member. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, to the family and friends of the Honorable Jean Dean, the former city council member and sister, as you heard, to Marty Fleming, our city administrator. No services have been provided to the city yet. I think families still working on that. We'll put something out when that time comes. And we have lowered the flags and memory and honor of Gene's service to the community. A speedy recovery as well to Don Huffman. The September the 12th, had the opportunity to attend the Council of Governments Board of Directors meeting, as well as go by Dunkin' Donuts and visit Miss Dee Slater, who's been there for over 35 years, and recognize her and her service to the community. And did attend the Arthritis and Pain Associates ice cream social there at the Arch Pavilion building at the Laurel Regional Hospital. The September the 15th, we did have the Arts Council make a tile workshop. I made my tile. I don't know whether it'll be used or not, but great time. Had a lot of good people there making tiles, and everybody had a good time. I want to thank the council, our council, for that. I did have the opportunity to attend Crew Suburban Economic Development, give them an update on what's happening in and around the city of Laurel, as well as other local mayors. And then I attended the University of Maryland Laurel Regional Hospital conversion meeting at the commission in Baltimore City, excuse me. We did host a Ukrainian delegation here, a visit, and I want to thank staff and Kevin, in particular, Kevin Frost, our Director of IT. A lot of good conversation. I appreciate the invitation to be with them. And then later that evening, we did have the Prince George County Municipal Association chapter meeting in Greenbelt. City of Laurel Employees Relations Committee did have their yard sale out at the Municipal Center on Saturday. Looked like they made some money. And Councilmember Lehman did have her District 1 Community Family Day at the Fairlawn Sports and Aquatic Center. On a couple of announcements on September the 29th, at 9:30, the McSeany March will occur at Laurel Museum. If you'd like to participate, we encourage you to do so. On September the 30th, from 12 till 5, is Riverfest. It looks like we're going to use the backup plan. It may not be at Riverfront, and I think we may have some comments a little bit later on that, some more information on that. And October the 8th, let me just remind everybody, city offices will be closed for Columbus Day. And then on October the 10th, from 4:30 to 6:30, my time with the mayor at the Park and Rec's maintenance facility. Mr. President, I do have a couple proclamations. I'm going to go down front.
Sure.
You have a proclamation 2018-16, whereas October has been recognized as National Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for over 30 years. And whereas the City of Laurel recognizes that the arts and humanities enhance and enrich the lives of all our citizens, and whereas the arts and the humanities play a unique role in our lives of our families and communities in our country, and whereas the City of Laurel encourages all residents to participate and invest in the visual arts, performing arts, and arts entertainment and education. And now, therefore, I, Craig Mo, the Mayor of the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim Arts and Humanities Month in the City of Laurel, and call upon all citizens and residents to celebrate, participate, and promote the arts and culture in the city. I don't think you want Joanne? Joanne Barr, Director of Park and Recs, and actually Joanne's staff works very closely with the Arts and Council. So Joanne, you want to say anything?
I'm very pleased to accept this on behalf of the Arts Council. They are doing great work. They are looking for volunteers and people to come out and participate in the meetings, and just keep an eye on all the great stuff they have coming.
Guy in the purple shirt looks like he knows how to paint. Come on. You want to get one over here? Mr. President, our second is 2018-17, whereas Maryland Governor Larry Hogan is encouraging Marylanders of all ages to take to the streets, trails, and parks throughout the day on Wednesday, October the 10th, 2018, in honor of Walk Maryland Day to promote walking. And whereas walking as a physical activity provides many health benefits, including helping maintain a healthy weight, reduce risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, depression, and some cancers, as well as improving the quality of health. Whereas the Mayor and City Council of Laurel continue to encourage walking throughout the city by requiring walking paths in all of our new developments, by enhancing the existing walkways in the city. And whereas children, parents, and community leaders around Maryland are joining together to walk on this day to promote this activity on a daily basis. Now, therefore, I, Craig M. Moe, the Mayor of the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim October 10th, 2018 as the third annual Walk Laurel Day. Joanne, you want to walk back up here and take this? We've been doing this is our third year. I think each year it's fair to say we started over at the Laurel Lakes, and we picked up each year a few more people, and we're going to again do it this year again. And Joanne, I want to thank you and your staff for promoting healthy activities.
Thank you, Mayor. And we definitely want to thank the Mayor for supporting this activity, this event. And we'd like to say that every day is Walk Day. We have great parks, great paths, and lots of places that you can engage in healthy activity here in the City of Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll move to Mr. Smalls. Go ahead, Mr. Smalls.
I'm sorry, I asked the council and mayor's indulgence, but I neglected during my report, and I couldn't go home if I didn't do it, to wish my grandson CJ a happy birthday. Today is his 16th birthday, and I know he's at home watching it because he has nothing else to do on his 16th birthday. But I want to wish CJ a happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. We have two appointments, mayoral appointments. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My first appointment, although we know that day would come someday when Marty would retire. Marty's last day will be September the 30th. He's been very busy the last week, and appreciate all the work that Marty has done throughout the years. Bill Goddard, William F. Goddard III has been our deputy city administrator. It gives me a great pleasure to nominate William F. Goddard III as the city administrator for the City of Laurel, effective on September the 28th, 2018. Bill has a very long resume that we attach to my letter to you all as well. He understands the many different pressures of city government. He's been involved in state government. He's been involved with county government for many, many years. Dedicated individual when it comes to public service and helping people. Mr. President, my letter so states that, along with salary and other information that has been provided to council. I'd ask for your endorsement.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll take these separately. We'll take first the appointment of William Goddard III as city administrator. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I'm certainly going to miss Marty, but with delight, I will make a motion to approve that.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Smalls. Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
President Laz?
Yes. Congratulations. Bill, do you want to say anything?
Do I want to say anything?
You're limited to 3 minutes.
My wife accuses me of saying too much sometimes. Mr. President, Mayor, members of the council, to say the least, is certainly quite an honor to have been selected to serve as the next city administrator for the citizens of Laurel. You know, as I look back at my first day working for the city of Laurel, it was on August 1st of 2015. And I know members of the council remember that day just as vividly as I do, because it was certainly a moment that caught the entire community and our elected leaders by surprise. It was the day that we were all notified of the closing of the Laurel Regional Hospital. So that was my very first day. Needless to say, it was really a moment that defined who we are as a city and a community that cares about our neighbors and our future. Through the leadership of our mayor and the hard work of our community and each of you, happy to say that the hospital will remain open as we celebrate a new beginning for health care for the citizens of Laurel and northern Prince George's County. And I must admit that I'm happy to have played just a small part in that overall process. I do look forward to working with each of you as I try to fill those shoes of my dear friend Marty Fleming. And that's going to be difficult. I don't know that I'll fill those shoes, but I'll certainly be able to walk in those shoes as we collectively work together to move the city of Laurel forward. And I'm excited to begin this new journey. And I do look forward to working with each of you and the fabulous staff that we have here in the city of Laurel. And I thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
Mr. President, I did forget to mention we were, which is why we were meeting today at 5 o'clock. After this was going to hold a reception for Marty and make some presentations to Mr. Fleming. We will schedule that a little bit later on, as soon as most know, Marty's sister passed away, or those that may have just come into the room. So we're dealing with that, working with Marty. Once that's done, we'll make sure we honor him in the appropriate way and give him his due time. With that said, Mr. President, thank you all for that approval. The next would be of our Deputy City Administrator, Ms. Luann Crook, for the appointment effective September the 28th, 2018. Luann has a long history with the City of Laurel, spanning over 29 years of service. A lot of been in the Department of Public Works, been in the Department of Finance, was my executive assistant, and as you're well aware, we created the Chief of Staff, which gave her more responsibility and opportunity when we talk about line of succession of managing the day-to-day activities. Luann will make a fine Deputy Administrator. I think both Bill and Lou will make a great team, such as Marty and Bill made. And I would appreciate Lou accepting the offer I made her and the position, and I look forward to working with her, as I know you all do as the Deputy City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve Luann as Deputy City Administrator.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You want to say anything, Luann?
I just wanted to say thank you. This is a great honor for me as I've grown up here in the city, starting out at Public Works and working my way through a couple of different departments to reach my goal of serving in the mayor's office. And this is just icing on the cake for me, and I'm very happy to continue to help lead our city with this council and mayor and an awesome city staff. That's it.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to general public hearing. I have no one signed up to speak at the general public hearing that I'll open at 5:19. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the general public hearing at 5:20. Move to the second public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1931, text amendment number 250, an ordinance to amend the city of amend the Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 5, Zoning Districts, Section 20-7.8, Section 20-8.3, Section 20-9.5, and Section 20-12.3 of the City Code to allow for a house of worship in certain commercial, office building, industrial, and mixed-use zones as a permitted use and providing an effective date. I've read the title into the record for the second reading. I'll open the public hearing at 5:21. I have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing at 5:21 and a half. Huh? I'm going to call Robert. Robert, you're next. Go ahead.
Thank you and good evening. Text amendment application number 250- ordinance number 1931 was filed on August 17, 2018 by city staff to the mayor and city council of Laurel to amend the Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 5, Zoning Districts, Section 20-7.8, Section 20-8.3, Section 20-9.5, and Section 20-12.3 to allow for a house of worship in certain commercial, office building, industrial, and mixed-use zones as a permitted use and providing for an effective date. On August 29, 2018, the proposed ordinance was sent to the Maryland Department of Planning for comment. The Maryland Department of Planning had no comments. The file contains a certificate of publication verifying that this application and public hearing was advertised as required by law in the September 6th and September 13th editions of the Prince George's Sentinel. A memorandum from the City of Laurel Planning Commission to the Mayor and City Council dated September 14, 2018 reads as follows. At the regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission held on September 11, 2018, considered text amendment number 250 to allow a house of worship as a permitted use within certain commercial, office building, industrial, and mixed-use zones. The proposed text amendment would allow house of worship uses to operate similar to other assembly uses as illustrated in the city's Unified Land Development Code. After much discussion, the Commission recommended to table the zoning application. On the roll call vote of all members present, the Planning Commission voted to table text amendment application number 250, ordinance 1931. That concludes the reading of the file, Mr. President.
Thank you, Robert. I'll note that while he's not included in the public hearing, his comments become part of the record. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I make amendment to approve ordinance 1931, text amendment 250.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, I have a motion to second. Discussion. Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Laz?
Yes.
Mayor Mo?
Okay, I'll move to the second public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1932, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, to amend the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development Subdivision, to add Article VIA telecommunications facilities in public's right-of-way, to provide for certain standards and regulations relating to the location of the telecommunication towers, antennas, and other structures within the city's public rights-of-way, consistent with federal and state law, and providing an effective date. Okay, I've read the title into the record for the second reading. Let me go ahead and do the public hearing first, Mayor. Huh? Okay, well, go ahead, Mayor. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. We did hand out to the council. We do have one amendment that we put together. I think it's fair to say when I spoke at the introduction, we knew we were going to have other amendments to this. Today, we started receiving other emails, and I know there's going to be some speakers as well. Kevin, can you just go over the one amendment that we have for the council tonight that's been put before you? And I think, yeah, some of them want it. We have a couple extras. And
good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, council members. Staff is recommending an amendment to Ordinance 1932 tonight. The first section would be to add a new definition under Section 4 called micro wireless facility. And we would add, micro wireless facility means a small wireless facility having dimensions no larger than 24 inches in length, 15 inches in width, and 12 inches in height, and an exterior antenna, if any, no longer than 11 inches. That will reference in Section 3B5 under exemptions. Section 3B5 will be deleted, and we will add a new 3B5 to be a micro wireless facility strung between two utility poles as defined in Section 4, and provided further that the installation does not require replacement of the strand or excavation, modification, or replacement of the utility poles. The previous section referred to cubic feet. We have now modified to give dimensions. And we have secured a definition for a micro wireless facility.
so unless anybody has a question, we'd ask the administration proposing the one amendment. We also, Mr. President, received from Crown Castle, dated September the 24th, 2018, electronic copy from them, and I think the clerk has that as well. I think that was the only thing that my office has received as of today. We'd ask that the amendment be part of the record, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Don't go sit down, Kevin. So, I went and looked because this question came up on another issue. They make a statement that regulations and requirements that are not generally applicable to other utilities. I couldn't find any court case said this is like every other utility.
That is probably a question for our telecom attorney.
That's correct. It probably is. I mean, I love these letters we get because I'm reading from a letter we got from Crown Castle. As I've said before, an awful lot of letters and ordinances you can drive a Mack truck through. We have concerns relating to several provisions of the ordinance that conflict with federal law and would inhibit the deployment of the next generation wireless technologies in the city. I don't see that in this document. I'm sure they have it written down. It's probably 6 or 7 inches thick. Okay. It is unclear to me under what they have proposed here. They talk about removal of facility should be paid for by the franchise holder. Who's going to pay for that?
Honestly, Mr. President, I only glanced at it. It came in at 4:30. Okay. I would tell you right now we probably would disagree with that.
Okay, and this is the reason why. We got a proliferation of dishes around Laurel. And when you go look at the contract that the people that paid to have them installed, the provisions, it's up to the person that's living there that signed for it. Now they move out, they go away. And you got 2 and 3 dishes on the same roof or outside the same residence. I mean, I've got a problem with, to be honest with you, I'll go back to when we had West Virginia mushrooms. That's when I got involved in this. I think I made a statement in a meeting, in a planning commission meeting, that those 8-foot dishes or 10-foot dishes, they were going to go away someday, because I'd seen in Tokyo where they had the little dishes. This is all going to go away someday.
I can tell you it's evolving. The technology is evolving on a daily basis.
Yeah, I understand
It's
that.
changing
So-
rapidly.
So then it comes to the question. I've got a lot of things asked for in this letter from Crown Castle. I appreciate it. It came via email today. I'm not disagreeing with what's been said here. The question is, do we have to continue this for another hearing? Mayor, go ahead, Mayor.
No, we're not going to continue. As I said before, we're going to get something on the books. We're going to continue to work with everybody involved. All of this information that came in, our attorneys are going to be looking at. We will most likely send information back, and I know there's going to be testimony here this evening. So, as I said, we're going to do what's right, but we're going to continue to move forward, and we're going to listen to what everybody has to say to make sure
Appreciate that, Mayor.
the community, as well as those that want to do this new technology, we don't want to stifle the technology. I think this council is all for moving forward, and that's kind of what our approach it will take. So,
and we're going to get testimony. I want to let you know that the people that live in the community are already complaining about all the stuff that's on the poles that doesn't get removed. I want to go on record as stating that. Or oversized boxes that appear on poles. Part of it's the telephone company, part of it's the various wireless carrier, wired carriers. And then they run, and again, I'm just going to make this statement because I've said it before, and I got Verizon to actually move a wire. They were doing the easy thing, putting it across a street, across Prince George Street. I said, look at how long that thing is, look how low it hangs. He said, well, I can't find the box back here. I said, well, that's where I'm hooked up. All I'm saying is they've got contract installers doing half-assed work, and they're creating a blight in our community. And I appreciate what you said, Mayor. I didn't mean, you don't have to answer that, Kevin.
he won't. I will. He won't.
All right. I'll open the public hearing at 5:32. I have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak now on this agenda item?
Bill, did you want to talk? Right? Did you want to speak? Oh, I thought you were. Okay.
You'll have all the answers for me soon. I know, Bill. I'm sorry. Okay. Then I'll close the public hearing at 5:33.5. What's the pleasure of the council? With the amendment as presented by the mayor.
I have a question.
I've already said my piece.
Yes, you did. So, Mr. Frost, if you wouldn't mind, excuse me, regarding the amendment, the installation of, a micro wireless facility. As Councilman Les correctly pointed out, there's a proliferation of stuff on wires. Is this something that will be added possibly to what's already existing? Is it going to
These are existing.
Something?
These are existing. And this technology is a little different. I mean, it's a wireless technology.
Yeah.
But this is the some of the public Wi-Fi that Verizon and Comcast and them have. That's what these boxes do.
Okay.
So they're existing, and that's why they're listed as an exemption.
I think they go on top of poles.
Provided they meet the size.
Now, with the technology we've been talking about over the last several months that will be installed on pole, is that equipment in some manner or another going to replace this?
No.
Is it going to work in concert with it?
It'll work in concert with. I mean, it's wireless technology. They both will come across your phone or your, depending on your laptop, how it's set up. One will do it a little differently, but it's not the small cell technology that's going to be on the pole. It's a little bit different.
I think it's no secret that I'm...
Actually, the thing to be clear here is it's strung on the wire between the poles, to be
Right,
specific.
understand.
Yes.
Understand. I'm certainly in favor of the technology, but without a doubt, I just kind of almost see this akin to what Councilman Les was talking about in terms of when the proliferation of dishes were all over the place. Now we see, wireless technology mounted on poles, mounted on wires. Is it akin to the same kind of thing?
This is where the technology is moving. It's where the world, our country, is moving in this direction. Like as I said before, I believe the wires will come off the houses, and everything will be wireless technology in the next several years. And it's starting now, and we're dealing with it. The federal government, the FCC is dealing with it. I think they vote tomorrow on some pieces of this. But yes, you will see the small cells.
I just want to conclude with a comment regarding the Crown Castle letter memo that we received. This is new to most of us, and just in the direction that this is going. So I know this was received today, and I think I heard you or someone say it was received late this afternoon. If at all possible, before the council meets and has to make some decisions on it, if we could we have a council who renders opinions on these sort of things and is support of the city. Could just give us could just give us an overview of exactly what this is saying, preferably before we're asked to cast a vote, but in some circumstances I understand that
this will be responded to in a letter.
Yeah, but
Okay,
we'll
we'll
have
respond to
already
this.
voted, presumably.
Yes,
That's
definitely.
my point.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just suggest, Ms. Smalls, my proposal is to bring this to a vote tonight. If we need to make changes after they scrutinize this thing, and I think they need to scrutinize it, understand it, because I don't understand it all. But on the other hand, I'm not a telecommunications expert. But I expect that we'll get some, it's just like anything else. We may need to change something that we've done, but we'll have something on the book. I think that it's correct that the FCC is doing something tomorrow. Is that correct? There's something on their agenda for tomorrow on this issue? Small cell? I mean, I can't keep up with it anymore. I'm going to be honest with you. But again, I think that everybody's trying to get ahead of it. And in getting ahead of it, we seem to be, something's nipping at our tails. And I think it's a dog. Okay, but I know that you all have some answers for the city, and that'll be shared with the council. We may need to make some changes. Is that correct, Larry? We may need to make some changes to what we've done.
We're good. We're going to get it all.
I want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, our attorney says yes. Okay, excellent. I'll entertain a motion.
Well, that said, hopefully you all better be making a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
You have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? With the amendment. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mr. President, I'll second, but I'll just again state that I'd like more information before I cast a vote, not after. That's just my 2 cents.
I appreciate that. Any further discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes.
Mayor Mel?
Thank you. Move to agenda item number 6C, second public hearing with possible action on resolution number 5-18. Resolution creating an education advisory committee. We discussed this at the work session. It's the pleasure of the council.
Mr. President, I vote yes. I can't even talk today. I'm sorry. I vote yes to move forward with this. Invocation Advisory.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I don't believe you opened public hearing.
Oh, I was trying to skip it. I'll open the public hearing at 5:40. Is anyone wishing to speak? I have no one signed up to speak. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 5:40 and a half. I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Sidnor,
I vote yes.
Ms. Nicholas,
Yes.
Mr. Small,
I vote yes.
President Les,
Yes.
Mayor Mel.
Give that to Kim. Okay. Following statement is made regarding the adjournment of the mayor and city council to closed session on this date. The reason for adjourning to a closed session is to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. The authority for this closed session is contained in general provisions, article subsection 3-305, B in a bucket, 7 in a bucket. I have a motion. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Small. Second.
I second, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Small,
I vote yes.
Sidnor,
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas,
Yes.
President Les.
Yes. For the public and staff, who do we need back there?
Kim, Lou.
Okay, the rest of the staff can go home, and we'll be back from executive session for 1 minute to adjourn. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm sorry?
Yes, yes. We don't have a date yet, Billy. They're working on funeral arrangements.
It'll be posted. It'll be posted.
I want to say it's going to be at least a week or 10 days. Thank you.
Thank you.